Aloha bruhz, howzit. So I haven't posted a build video in a very long time. So today I have a very unique, a very fun summoner sorcerer build for you. It's pretty good in like small dungeon content or small group content. I haven't taken it out to trials yet, so I don't know if it would do well in trials, but at the very least I've taken this in the hardest DLC dungeon so far, and it's pretty good. And the hard DLC dungeons that I was in, my healers were always shit, so I mean it's pretty good all around because it can heal itself. It's pretty good sustain and all that. Great with the resources. Here's just a background gameplay of me in PvP. I was trying to unlock Warhorn, that PvP skill, but I only had level 3 assault. So yeah, here I get top score. Just thought it was a little interesting little intro clip here. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Mahalo so much for tuning in. Now for your class, you want to pick Sorceress, right? Now the Sorceress is really unique in ESO because it's probably one of the only classes in a lot of MMO games where you can make it a tank, right? It's not your traditional type of tank. Sorceress has always been like, Magicka and all that stuff. And for your two races, I would go Nord or Dark Elf. I went with Dark Elf because I like more resources, so I can, cast a little more Magicka-based spells, since this build uses a lot of Magicka-based spells, but Nord is probably better if you want a tank here. Now for your attributes, your attributes, you want to get health until it's about 38k, and then you want to put the rest in Magicka, so you can cast stuff. Look at the stats right there, pretty decent. And for the Mundus Stone, I put the Ochanok for Magicka recovery. So, yeah, but I mean, it's really up to you. You can pick health ones if you want. And if you're on a budget, Witchmother's Potent Brew. And if you're not on a budget, Clockwork Citrus Fillet. Now, in terms of gear sets, we have Leeching Plate, which is your standard meta tanking set, right? Great for health sustain. Hand of Mephala is a set you probably don't see very often, but I think it's pretty underrated because you can slow enemies within 4 meters, as well as inflict minor breach to them, right? And it deals a little bit of damage, but we're not really using it for the damage. If at any point you need to see the enchantments or traits, you can pause. I put them on the slides here for you so you can see. And I think they work really well hand in hand because Hand of Mephala slows enemies down, and then Leeching Plate can get to them, and it stacks pretty well together. So yeah, 5 pieces each. And then for the Monster Helm, you want to use the Shadowrend from Banished Cells 1 Veteran. To me, I think this is way better than the Maw of Infernal for a tank because of its further debuff for enemy damage. It inflicts minor defile, so 5%. Yeah. And here I'm just going to scroll through some of the gear sets real quick, just in case you want to see. Right. I put most, like you can see like some of these are blue. I don't even have the proper traits and enchantments for them, and this works fine. I brought it into the most difficult dungeons to do, and it was still viable. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, Ransack you want to have from your one-handed shield skill line. It's your main aggro taunt. I don't use Pierce Armor because, Mephala's hands inflicts minor breach to large groups of enemies. So, yeah. Streak is your mainly used for its stun ability, but it can stun large groups of enemies as well, or if you need to run away, right? Bound Aegis from Daedric Summoning. It's mainly a bar buffer for resistances, but can be casted for block mitigation. Summon Twilight Matriarch is your emergency burst heal. This is the thing you use when maybe your healer's down or they need a little help. Your Volatile Familiar is activated for its AoE stun after, I think, 3 pulses, and it's really good. And Greater Storm Ochanok, right, which is used for its Major Berserk synergy. 10% extra damage for each team for 8 seconds if they activate it. Very nice. Now, I use Frost Pulsar on my Destruction Staff for the HP debuff, right, 10%, and plus a little bit of minor protection. Critical Surge is mainly slotted for its passive healing when you deal crit. I use Boundless Storm for its Major Resolve because you don't have Major Resolve on this build. That's passive, so. And mild AoE damage if they get close to you. Or a little storm around your body. Summon Twilight Matriarch and Summon Volatile Familiar are just on the back bar, so they don't disappear when you switch to the back bar when you're buffing stuff. Right? because if you don't have it on the back bar and you switch it, they die and you have to recast. And Absorption Field from the Dark Magic skill line, which silences enemies, right, and stuns them. And it's a mild AoE heal. I really like it. Very underrated. And this is the stuff I put in the passives. At any point you need a pause, right? This is what I think is compulsory or mandatory. So if you need to see, pause the video. For my champion points, this is what I put on mine for slaughterables. I mean, you can pick other stuff if you think is better. This is what I felt that worked the best for me. Now, with your skills, you want to always make sure you have your Twilight Matriarch and Volatile Familiar summoned, right? Activating your Volatile Familiar periodically every 10 seconds for its stun, activating Twilight Matriarch for its emergency heal. Now, once you've done that, you want to switch to your back bar and pre-buff with Boundless Storm and Critical Surge for extra defense and extra healing. So you want to streak into enemies or into large groups of enemies to stun them, right? Make it a little easier on your team so they don't target your team as much. After doing that, you want to aggro the strong enemies with your Pierce Armor. Here I put optional, but you should be casting Pulsar to further debuff their health by about 10%. And on top of that, you get a nice little resistance buff for you and your teammates as well. And when needed, you want to cast your Greater Storm Atronach or Absorption Field. Greater Storm Atronach is great to increase your team's damage, and Absorption Field is really nice to kind of silence and stun enemies, as well as heal your team if you need a support heal a little bit if your healer is not very good. Hey, so that's basically it for this build guide. I don't really have much else to say. Here I just got some gameplay with this character in the Bloodroot Forge with this summoner tank. And man, this took us a lot of tries on the final boss, man. I don't know the mechanics to this dungeon, neither did anybody else. On top of that, I think the healer just started out healing because the healer was not throwing any resources for me at all, and he kept just spamming Radiating Regeneration. And you only need to cast Radiating Regeneration every 10 seconds. There's no need to spam it because it's not going to do any more healing other than reset the 10 seconds, which is pointless. It's a waste of magicka. So I thought it was pretty cool to share this clip. Now here you can see the sustain's actually not bad. Very good survivability. Here I'm trying my best to kind of keep them. You look at my stamina. I just kept running out just because sometimes I just need stamina or resources thrown my way. It's just the whole point of the healer. That's what they're supposed to do. But I think the healer just started out. So that's my opinion anyway. It was really hard. There weren't a lot of healing ticks according to my friend on his end as well, so I don't think the healer was an actual healer. But yeah, there's really nothing much else here. I'd share more clips, but I forgot to say them. I ran out of space on my PS4, and my PS4 is all full now. It's so stupid. It's like you put 2-3 games on it, and that's the maximum you can put on it, unless you're willing to get a disc, which I think is ridiculous. So mahalo so much for tuning in, guys, and honestly much appreciated for 800 subscribers. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're getting so close to 1,000. I never thought I would hit 1,000, so I honestly really do appreciate it. I know I've said it many times. And yeah, that's basically it. Mahalo so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you would like to see, put it in the comments down below. I'll see what I can do. I got a few other builds to share. They got nerfed with that combat update and everything, but I'm trying to rebuild them to make them viable again. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Please stay safe.